Hello, welcome to Board Game Bonkers. I'm JC. This is a free links review. We're going to take a look at 3 different board games that are connected with either the mechanism or the type of family type of game or the type of theme. Now, today we're going to take a look at 3 small card games. Now, today we've got Death Valley, which is a small pocket wallet game. And we've got Hero Tech, which again is a small wallet game as well. And we've also got Love Letter. So I'm going to give a very brief overview of these games. I'm not going to explain all the rules, so please don't use this video for that. And then I'm going to compare the differences between the games, let you know what I like, that's what I don't like, and my pick and my preferred choice. Now, before we do that, please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so for more content like this. So let's first check out Death Valley. Now, Death Valley is a small pocket game. And what you'll be doing is you'll be acquiring cards that you put into your journey. Now you have 2 roles, you have your journey and you have your scrapbook. So you try and make a decision to acquire more cards to put in your journey, but there's a risk because each card has a hazard symbol and you have more of those symbols, then you'll go bust. What will happen is when you get the 3rd one, you'll then scrap everything in your journey, leaving the last card on the left, but everything in your scrapbook will remain. You try and make that decision to move cards from your journey into your scrapbook. Now, the reason why you're doing that is because you'll acquire points for cards that remain at the end of the game in your journey, which has stars on them. You won't get the points that are in the cards from the stars, which are in your scrapbook. However, the cards in your scrapbook will give you different points based on where the position of the cards are. For example, some cards will say if you position this card next to this card, you will then gain more points that way, but not solely the points indicated with stars. They're only from the journey. So you're trying to make that decision. When do you move cards from your journey into your scrapbook to use the ability that gives you more points? But of course, there's a risk because the more cards you draw from the draw pile to place into your journey, then got a chance you're going bust if you get 3 of the same symbol. Now, it's quite an interesting, simple, straightforward game. I quite like this because you can take it around with you. The artwork's beautiful and gorgeous. So let's move on and have a quick look at our next card game, which is Hero Tech. Now, Hero Tech is a small wallet game as well, and a bit different than how Death Valley operates. So a little bit like Seven Wonders Duel, where you have a row of cards laid out. And like Seven Wonders Duel in a pyramid style, and there'll be a row of cards that are face up, and then the next row will be face down, and so forth. So then you'll be acquiring a card, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to build 3 of the different items that are required, which is a suit, or it's a layer, or a vehicle. And what you're trying to do is acquire those cards into your tabloid, and then on the left of those cards there are 3 different kind of boxes with symbols in them, and what you're trying to do is you'll be placing a cube on the bottom box and then moving up, and then further up you go, well, the better that particular symbol will be, or selection of symbols, and you need those symbols to build the card. So you'll see that each card has a different ability on it as well that will help and assist you throughout the game. What you're trying to do is build those 3 different items, and once you've built them, you will then gain and score the points at the end of the game, which is indicated by stars. So you're trying to gain the most points or prestige, if you like, and building these items for your hero. So this has got a kind of fantasy theme to it. You're kind of building these items to kind of sell in your shop window to the hero or villain, if you like. It's quite a simple, straightforward game, although a couple of cards don't quite make sense. We'll go into that a little bit later in this free links review, but very straightforward, simple game. And it's a little bit different to how the others operate because you're trying to obviously go up this kind of track on your card to get better and more powerful and more of the same type of symbol, because you need those symbols to build the cards. So let's move into my next game. The last one we're going to have a look at is Love Letter. Love Letter is a classic. You've got different types, and the kind of Lovecraft version is arguably the best out of all of them. But Love Letter is simply you have a card in your hand, you'll be drawing a new card, And you'll be playing a card against an opponent, and the objective of the game is to try and get them to discard the card in their hand, which means they're out of the round. And if you win the round, you'll gain an affection token. And once you've got the majority of the affection tokens, once they're all gone, then you'll be the winner of the game. It's fairly straightforward and simple. Some of the cards do different things. So cards will let you look at other players' hands. Some cards will let you compare, swap hands. Some cards let you guess what the other players got. So there's different ways in how this game will work, a little bit kind of trick-taking in it, but it's quite a simple, straightforward game, and it works well with various different player counts, all the way up to 7 players, which is fantastic. It goes to 9 players, which is great, but it can be a little bit long-winded with those number of players. So let's now go into our next part of this review, and that is looking at the comparison between these games. So I've given you a very brief overview of kind of roughly how they would play out. Now let's look at the differences, particularly between Death Valley and Hero Tech, because you've got a kind of tabloid of cards, and you'll be able to acquire cards. And the way they've done it is completely different. Death Valley is you simply will be drawing a card from the draw pile, and then you'll be placing it into your journey, your own tabloid. And you'll have a lot more cards in your tabloid than you will with Hero Tech. Now with Hero Tech, you have a plethora of cards laid out. Obviously some are face down, some are face up, and obviously you can only take the card from the bottom row, and as you take cards, other cards that be sitting underneath will be revealed. So it's very similar to Seven Wonders Duel. So it's quite different in how you acquire your card, whereas Hero Tech you can kind of see the vast majority of cards, whereas in Death Valley you can't. There's a little bit of push your luck to it, more so in Death Valley than Hero Tech. Now with Love Letter, again, there's luck involved in this, because like Death Valley, you can't see what the cards are, so you're taking it from a draw pile that you're placing into your hand. So again, there's that element of luck to the game, so very similar to Death Valley in acquiring your cards. However, Love Letter doesn't have a tabloid system, whereas Death Valley and Hero Tech does. Hero Tech's tabloid will be a lot smaller, because as you'll be acquiring cards and placing them in front of you in your tabloid, there'll be less of them compared to what you'll have with Death Valley. So that works slightly different. In terms of the cards themselves, they're all different, because Death Valley, like Hero Tech, it does have your special ability at the bottom. So it gives you that little ability, like Death Valley have that ability that will help you score extra points. And the difference is Hero Tech has 3 boxes on the left side of the card, and what that allows you to do is to use the symbols that you need to build the cards. Of course, you can still build the same card where you've got a cube on a box and a card you want to build, for example, and that's your build action. So what you're trying to do is go up those spaces in those 3 levels into the 3rd level, because you'll get better icons. But not necessarily, sometimes you have to go down, because you can choose to go up or down, which is quite cool. So Death Valley, Love Letter have nothing like that. So you're not placing any cubes on the cards, you're not going up levels to make them better, to give you better symbols. So unlike traditional cards where it may have a specific symbol, a set of symbols on a card, Hero Tech, you can actually choose what symbols you want and what level you want them at. So that's quite cool. I really like that. So that kind of dual action of a card in Hero Tech. So Love Letter, well, that's completely different, because you have no particularly ways of scoring points or anything. It's more about the actual ability that's on the card, and it's more of a trick-taking ability. As you know, maybe you can get the other cards to discard their card of hands, or perhaps you're looking at an opponent's hand, things like that, guessing what card they've got. So there's a kind of element of that kind of fun type of card game, less serious than Death Valley or Hero Tech. So there's quite a vast difference between how they operate. I would say Death Valley and Hero Tech's more aligned to one another in terms of how they would operate. Whereas Love Letter is completely different. It's got a different flow to it, a completely different feel. Love Letter's a lot quicker. It's kind of back and forth. You've got a lot quicker going around the table playing cards. Whereas with Death Valley and Hero Tech, you're taking your time a little bit more, although Death Valley is a quicker game than Hero Tech. Hero Tech, you're thinking a lot more, because you're trying to think that I need this symbol. I'm not sure what this next card is going to be, because I want this particular symbol. These cards don't have it. No, maybe I want the ability, so I'm going to take that card because I want that ability. Very similar to Death Valley and how that would operate. There's more push your luck in Death Valley, because you can go bust. Now you haven't got that in Hero Tech or Love Letter. Although technically you could go bust in Love Letter, because you could have a certain card where if you discard a certain card or forced to discard it, you could be out of the round. So there's certainly more of a push of luck in Death Valley, I would say, because you've got 3 of the same symbols, then you go bust and lose everything in that journey tabloid area. Now you've got a journey and a scrapbook area. So there's quite a bit difference between those games and how they operate, particularly Love Letter, and obviously some similarities with Death Valley and Hero Tech. There's enough difference in them, and certainly a different feel to it, and the themes are completely separated. So let's talk about what I like about the games. Now, I've already briefly talked about them. Love Letter, like the quickness of it, how simplified it is. Most people can play this, really simple, nice kind of laid back, relaxing game. Death Valley has got some stunning artwork to it, looks beautiful. And I like this kind of element of you've got 2 tabloid areas, and like that, when do I move a card from a journey into my scrapbook? Because cards in my journey are going to score me points because based on the stars they've got on the card, whereas my scrapbook is ones that I'm going to be looking at the kind of special ability, if you like, the special scoring ability that's going to tell me if I place a card in this area of my scrapbook next to this card is going to score me X amount of points. So you're trying to figure out when to move cards down from your journey into your scrapbook, and that push your luck is quite fun. When do I keep drawing cards? Can I draw as many as I want? But if I keep going and get the same symbol 3 times, then I've gone bust and lost all those bar 1 card from a journey. So I quite enjoy that, and it's quite fun. With Hero Tech, what I do enjoy, I like that pyramid system. I really love it. I don't care if they've stolen it off Seven Wonders Duo. I really do like that system. And what I thought was quite clever, on the card, you've got a special ability, and you've got this dual action of being able to get the symbols, but you can choose, well, I want this symbol, but I also need this symbol. I need to go up a level. And you can also go down the level. I really like that flexibility and choice in the game. So let's talk about what I don't like about the games and what I can see might be teething issues for others. Now, in Love Letter in particular, what can be problematic is that with higher play counts, it can kind of drag on a bit. And I feel that the amount of affection tokens that are in the game, I reduced that by half because it just drags on too long for what it is. So although I think it says 15-20 minutes in the box, well, actually it doesn't say any time in the box. I think in Board Game Geek it's got for about 20 minutes. It takes much longer than that with a higher player count, so I tend to halve the number of affection cubes you need to acquire. Can be a little bit tedious. When you play it quite a lot, there's not much depth to it. Now, with Death Valley, what I don't particularly like, and there isn't much, is it can kind of feel a little bit samey over time because there's only so many cards in this game because there's in a small wallet. So once you've seen them all, there isn't much huge difference between the cards. So there isn't a huge amount of variation, which kind of will make it feel a little bit samey over time, but you would have to be playing this, I think, in excess of 10 times before you get that feeling. Now with Hero Tech, what I'm not particularly a fan of, one, the theme feels a little bit weird, but I just ignore the putting items in a shop window doesn't make sense. I feel like I'm in a high street putting a building, a layer. So I think more of the shop window, you're selling these items to a villain or a superhero, kind of think of the theme that way. And the theme is kind of neither there or here. It's kind of, it's okay. So it hasn't really got a fantasy tint to it. It feels more kind of generic. It feels a little bit boring. The theme, and I think they could have stuck any theme on this, to be honest, because of stolen mechanisms from other games, but I quite like it as a package overall. So which game do I prefer? Which one would be my top pick? And for me, this is a tough choice because I played Love Letter the most because it's more accessible, it's simpler and easier. I would have to say, in terms of my enjoyment, I've enjoyed Love Letter the most, but I actually do prefer Death Valley out of the 3 because one, I like the artwork, the theme's quite nice, and going on this journey, it's as if I'm going, on this Death Valley, this valley, and looking at the scenes, taking pictures, and this is what I've clad, and I've got some fun facts about Death Valley as well. But I just like how you've got 2 tabloids and you've got that kind of push your luck, and that's quite fun. How far do I push myself to get more cards that I need? And then when do I move a card from a journey into my scrapbook? I really like that. I think that's quite fun. So for me, that's got the accessibility and a bit of fun factor as well. There's a little bit of luck and strategy in the game. So that'd be my top pick, and you can take this anywhere. You'll notice with Hero Tech, I've had to take this and attach it with me. That's because I've got tokens in there and you need them. You can use a coin as well to look at where you are and which level on the card. So that brings us to the end of this free links review. I hope you've enjoyed that. Free, simple, straightforward, small card games. Certainly check them out and let me know in the comments down below which would be your pick and have you played any of these. If not, perhaps you can check them out. Definitely, certainly highly rated in Board Game Geek. I think Bloodlet is the highest rated in Board Game Geek, but the ones I would certainly recommend checking out. That brings us to the end. Please do consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much. And until next time, take care.
This is Bonkers.